She's not your typical psychic or healer or any other term. She's not a tarot card reader. She doesn't predict. But all of those things are paramount to what she does through her counseling with you.
I had to empower myself to heal. Working with the general public over and over again, I realized that that was my ability to help people and start them on a path of healing for themselves.
Tracy helped me almost identify all the various pieces of me that were fragmented and not connected, and to bring all those pieces together to help me become a whole person.
I think it's a great way to equate it is a radio station that there's a lot of static. And so you hear part of the tune, but you don't always know exactly, you can't hear it clearly. You don't know where you are in the song.
She cuts through all of the mundane physical reality in our everyday life to get you into the depth of who you are, your soul, your spirit.
A person has encapsulated in their energy a frequency that I can interpret, either through feeling, like empathetically, or psychically, clairvoyantly, which means I see things and I hear things, and sometimes the ability to be clairsentient, which is the ability to just know things, and that's what we call channeling.
People who are very open-minded and curious, you know, traditional therapy may be too rigid for them. You know, that's kind of what I found. You know, where I went to this therapist, a marriage counselor, where, you know, the therapist wouldn't tell you anything about herself, and it was, you know, there were all these prescribed rules, and so as a result I didn't really develop a relationship with the lady, and, you know, it just was sort of this artificial dynamic, you know, whereas with Tracy it does become more personal, but, you know, it is personal. You know, that's what it is, and I think that's completely appropriate, and it works better for me.
I call myself a spiritual counselor. I am empathic. I'm an empath, so I sometimes take in the energy of people. I emotionally take it in and experience it, and then I'm able to interpret it through my feelings. And oftentimes I can help people emotionally process grief or give it a voice. I see a little screaming little girl. The feeling is so strong that the emotion is coming. It doesn't feel like there's anybody there for her. She talks to the voices in her head and the spirits that she hears. She's very, very sensitive, and she hears a lot of voices, and some are beneficial to her and some are not. I feel part of the adult in you, part of who you are today, is now dealing with the aftermath of having invited all of these people in, but you invited them in at a time where you had nobody around you paying attention to you and loving you and giving you what you needed.
We fragment portions of ourselves and they get stuck in time. I had been raped when I was 17, but the one issue that I never took care of was taking back my power. She took me back in time to actually take back my power. At that point, when I released that issue, that's when she embraced me. And this is one of those wonderful things that Tracy has, is that in the middle of your release and your purge and your Sartori, she will embrace you and tell you, I have you, it's making me cry. I have you, and she really does help you. Just emotionally find yourself and begin to love yourself at depths that you really didn't know you could.
Spiritually, we have to understand that there actually is a beginning, middle, and end. You know, on some level, on a spiritual level, there has to be something important that we gain from having had those experiences, and why we would put ourselves through such suffering. When I was 18, I was raped. Dr. Joyce Brothers was on, and she was talking to a woman who had been raped, and she said to this woman, "You're never going to be healed from this. All you can possibly hope for is to cope better." When I saw this woman, who is a traditional therapist, famous, tell someone that they would always live with that burden, I went, that's wrong. And it's wrong because the fact that it's wrong lives in me. And I now need to search out that fact. I need to be the bearer of that fruit in our world, in this reality, and and give that away, and the world will change.
Well, the process working with Tracy, it's not always easy, and the truth isn't always pretty, and you don't always want to hear it, you know? So it can be difficult, and actually working through your stuff it's hard work.
Sometimes I am the person who starts people out on a new path to really get past the incredible blocks of pain or disassociation that they have with themselves. And that is a painful process. It's devastating. It shakes who you think you are. And at the same time, it's the most glorious experience, because once that's happened just once, you don't ever forget it.
I remember the first session I had with her was pretty deep. I really almost stood up and walked out. And I didn't expect that. I really expected it to be something a little fluffy and soft and different.
One advantage that somebody who's intuitive has over a traditional therapist is that they're able to see where the other people in your life are at as well, and what their dynamic is in relation to you. So it's not just you that they see the whole picture.
People choose partners. They choose them usually at the same level they're at, so that they can then mirror or express outwardly what they experience inwardly. You know, a soulmate is somebody that you resonate with at a core level. That means you do things similarly. That means you vibrate or function at a similar rate. When you get into a relationship based on some of the illusions that society has about those things, there's always going to be a conflict. The illusion that you need a male to complete you or a female to complete you, it doesn't make sense. There's only one place that makes sense, actually. The one place that makes sense is in your spiritual self. It is the spiritual integration of those two elements of myself that make me a whole person. And that is a divine or sacred marriage.
Growing up in a very dysfunctional, abusive family, as a little girl, there must be some reason I'm here if this is going to be this bad. Health practitioners as well as massage therapists, and it's certainly been no news to me that I've held my body tense and defensive unconsciously. I mean, everywhere I go, it's relax, 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 and like I am relaxed. And I truly am, in my opinion. So to do physical activities, yoga or dancing, is like excruciating for me. Like, I'd just rather think through things and read books and be present in that sense. And that was the main goal with Tracy. As well, I tended to not be present in the clothes and things I wore. And after the first session with her, and we talked about all this at length, that Sunday, a few days after this session, I decided, I've been threatening to buy new clothes for some time. I'm going to do it. And the last time I had tried that, I just felt too self-conscious and embarrassed and left the store and said, no, can't do. That day I left with new clothes. The employees that worked for me were astounded. They were very encouraging, and it's about feeling comfortable to be in my body.
My femininity was sort of over there, and because I had always been a very strong person in my family life, it was kind of necessary for me to take charge and to be the man and to, take care of things and get things done. And that's very much a masculine trait. My homework was to go out and buy a cute little girly outfit. And after I bought the cute little girly outfit, I was to wear it out somewhere and just pay attention to the way that people were reacting to me. And so I did that. I grumbled and I went to the mall and I bought two little pink outfits. And to this day, one of those outfits is everybody's favorite outfit. And yeah, so she can enhance your wardrobe too.
If every emotion we have vibrates at a particular frequency, then water is going to seek its own level. And it's when we raise our frequency, and that doesn't mean that I've raised my frequency so I'm better than anybody. It just means that I've shifted my perception of myself. The frequency changes internally, and as you internalize it within yourself, it changes your body and your external energy, so therefore you attract different things. If you see something outside of you that you don't like, be willing to look at what that is within you, because that's where you can change it.
I had lung cancer and brain cancer, and I've been free and clear. I had a lot of fear, you know, surrounding that. I just couldn't get a grip on the fact that, you know, I'm healed.
My life is nothing like it was 10 years ago. I don't know how to describe it other than things just come a lot easier. You intuitively know what to do and what not to do.
I was able to get the root that had, on a cellular level, gotten stuck in me. And so once that let go, then I was able to take responsibility and take responsibility for my happiness.
Looking back, it seems like very little or no work. At the time, it was probably the most difficult experience ever, pressing through those issues. But there is such a feeling and sense of joy and accomplishment.
There is one recurring theme throughout all of my work with Tracy. And it was, I told her one day, literally, Tracy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find my way home. And she took me by the shoulders and she looked deep into my eyes and she said, Marilyn, you will always know your way home. I know that I'm not away from home now. Home is right here. It's right here in each one of us. And we're all one in consciousness, and consciousness is home.
It is my goal to facilitate people to recognize who they are, to have reverence to the Creator is imperative, but to know your part in it is what completes the circle. We have this huge world of multiple dimensions and experience around us and different levels of energy, and we can fully experience and be whole in that when we know who we are.
Illusion is the wedge, it's a place you cannot see. The truth it will never be. You should question its sincerity. Illusion is the wedge, good or evil, it don't matter. It can only be a